watching? Tell me who's watching? Who's watching me?
As you can say, this is my 5th time that I've had the oath of office, Nicole Maliatakis, and I will continue, God willing, to do this on many occasions if my community sees fit to return me to Albany and to serve them, and I hope and pray that they do. I'm here today to say thank you again, and I anticipate the combination of the many concerns that the people of my community will have. The national economic crisis is now in its 3rd year, and each day we see conflicting signs of the recovery and the recession. Our state is in a crossroads. The choices that we make in the next 2 years could take us down one of 2 roads. We can continue on the road of dysfunction, a road our state has been on for quite some time. We can make some smart yet difficult decisions that will allow our state and our city to emerge from the crisis and be stronger than ever before. Certain facts that are not in dispute. We're at a $10 billion deficit. And if you take a look across this country, we're just one of many states. Illinois is number 1, California is number 2, New York is number 3, but we're trying harder. New Jersey is number 4, and the list goes on. We're going to grow to $40 billion over the next 3 years. Our state continues to lose jobs and people. And the new census data shows that we'll lose 2 more seats in the House of Representatives as people leave New York to other parts of this great nation. Unemployment still hovers around 10%. The former governor and the legislature in the last 2 years increased state spending and imposed an array of new taxes and fees. Over $16 billion. No other state in the union did that. Including the restoration of the sales tax on clothing, which sent many New Yorkers back to New Jersey to shop, and further devastating our retail sector and our neighborhoods. One just has to look at the vacant stores along our shopping strips to know how this spend and tax philosophy has hurt our community. They created a payroll tax that was supposed to help stabilize the MTA finances, and we all know how that worked out. We have a lawsuit pending because of the disabled individuals and seniors that live in the southwest part of the community of Brooklyn. The highest quantity of seniors in the entire state and country live in this metropolis here in the southwest part of Brooklyn.
I'm just an average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price. All I want is to be left alone.
Those imbalances still exist. They established the so-called millionaire's tax. All this has accomplished is many of those targeted by this tax have established homes in different parts of this country where they pay no income tax, no real estate taxes, such as states of Florida, Nevada, and others around this great nation. They pay more than my colleagues in legislature think that $200,000 income makes you a millionaire. Not if you have a mortgage or a kid or 2 in college, as I do and as many of you do. And we have a pension fund crisis that will bleed our state and our city. These facts are from our journey of the dysfunctional road, where it was once said that New York streets were paved with gold. They are now blemished by potholes caused by excessive taxation, mindless regulation, and a sense of despair caused by a government that no longer appears to function, but no longer seems to care. But there's another road. It's a road that requires some tough choices and a change in the way we operate. New Yorkers have been willing to make tough choices and make changes when necessary. And that is the road that we can travel and make this state government meet our responsibilities. The Assembly and the Senate and the governor must all work together to address the challenges facing our state. We must put aside partisan politics and work to achieve the following, which is the only way to achieve financial security. We must stop any and all tax increases, especially those on businesses and personal income. Our government must learn to live within its means. For too long, the answer to government overspending was to increase taxes. This must stop, and now higher taxes, killing our jobs and driving people out of the state of New York, cannot continue. We must cap property taxes. New York is ranked 5th among all states, the highest per capita property tax. Home ownership was once the American dream. In New York, it has become a nightmare. We need to do something about the skyrocketing price of Medicaid, which costs our state more than $50 billion a year. We spend $1 billion a week on Medicaid in the state of New York. No other state is spending at that rate. More than a third of state budget is Medicaid. More than twice what any other state spends, and I'm sure that the people who depend on Medicaid for access to doctors and hospitals in our state are twice as healthy as people in other states. We need to develop realistic measurements, and these measurements should be developed with the task force that the governor has put together, and we should come up with a standard that works for all of the people of our great city and this great state, not at the cost of the taxpayers here today. We've got to work to make sure that this task force, which I look forward to its recommendations, and we need to promote job creation in New York. It is imperative that we get New York back to work, and I'm proud to say I'm doing my part and our part. We've created a biovac industrial park at 59th Street and 2nd Avenue and 1st Avenue. We will create thousands of jobs at that location, and we've created some 250 and working to create the next 250. We just met with the City of New York earlier today, and hopefully that number will start to grow. We're also working with another, the American Stock Transfer Company, which is going to create 700 jobs here in Brooklyn. We're also working and created a tax production credit, a film tax credit, which you've seen outside your homes and blocking off your different blocks from all these different film crews. But that film tax credit went from $5 billion in the past 4 years to $8 billion. It's created tens of thousands of jobs, and it's brought those jobs in from Canada and took it away. That production that was running off into Canada, we brought it back to this state, and we now have a production tax credit that is equal to none. It is so good that California, which is a $30 billion industry, has put in a $500 million tax credit just to compete with the tax credit in the state of New York. They're not going to win, because we here, ladies and gentlemen, are going to fight to maintain that industry and to make sure that we continue to create jobs. We're building a senior center, and I know today over Marine Park, which has created hundreds of jobs. We're creating up in Bensonhurst, working with, that was the Marine Park Civic, working with the Senior Center and working with the Italian Federation up in Bensonhurst and creating a youth center that will also create several hundred jobs, close to 1,000 jobs, construction jobs, being able to work and put up these facilities so that our communities can have these facilities here in this great community. And we will continue to work to create jobs. And if this city and this state had taken the money that they got from the federal government, the stimulus money, had they put that money into the Atlantic Yards, the World Trade Center, the Jacob Javits Center, the Moynihan Station, the 2nd Avenue line, Destiny in upstate New York, jobs, and $1 billion in economic activity. And we would have been the state leading the recovery of this great nation. We chose not to do that. We've made some mistakes, but it's time to change. It's a time to stop making those mistakes. It's a time to put people back to work and to create the opportunity that we need, that our families can stay and live and raise that family here in this great city, in this great state. And we, united together, will fight, working together side by side with the legislature and the people in our communities to make sure that that becomes a reality. I was pleased that Governor Cuomo proposed the consolidation of 3 agencies, but that's only the beginning. There is too much duplication, not enough accountability, and too much spending. Where agencies' missions and functions overlap, we should merge them. The duplication, the increased efficiency, and make sure that your taxes are used to provide services. But that's the tip of the iceberg. There are the public authorities. They employ thousands of employees and spend money and operate with very little accountability. And to the people that pay those bills, us, no accountability. We all know that the MTA, but they're only one of many. There are over 700 authorities across this great state. Do we need them? No, we do not. Can we save money? Yes, we can. The MTA is a prime example. Do we need 6 MTA agency presidents, 26 vice presidents, as well as a layer of MTA leadership above that? I don't think so. The answer is no. We don't need to have that type of reckless spending. We need to do something about it. We need to make those changes, and we need to do it now. All those authorities, that they spend money, but they also borrow it. And that's the reason that many of them were formed in the first place, to create for our state an extra line of seemingly unlimited credit. It's like getting a new MasterCard when you've maxed out your Visa card. Well, it's time that we cut some of those cards. We need to take this road, the road to a better New York. We need to consolidate and to merge the different agencies that we have. We need to take the different agents, the police departments, the fire departments, the schools, the water and the sewer projects that are in many of these upstate and in Long Island areas. We need to consolidate. We need to be able to share those resources. We need to come together and to work together so that we can save money here in this great state. There are over 10,500 different taxing agents across the state of New York. There is a police department, a fire department, a school district in every town and village across this great state. We have one chancellor here for the state of New York and for the city of New York that's for over 1.1 million children, and it's over 200 in Nassau County and over 200 in Suffolk County. It's time to consolidate the county's expenses and try to get them in order so that we can stop driving the people and the businesses out of this great state. To their own. People are so devalued, their 401ks and other investments collapse to the point where they need to keep working because they can't afford to retire. I know people who have lost their homes to foreclosure. It's sad. And the federal government has failed us on these foreclosure fixes. They put these people into new programs, and the programs aren't working. Of course, the home is just too expensive for many of the people to maintain. Federal government has failed us, and state government has failed us as well. We need to come together, and we need to do something about what's going on across this great state. We need to work with our education. We need to make sure that the cuts in education, and there will be many, that those education cuts are smart cuts. We got to make sure that we include our parochial and our private schools, that we include tax credits to make sure that they have the ability to send their children to schools and have the good schools that they need to educate their children. We need to be able to make sure our public safety is equal to none. We need to make sure that a 9/11 never, ever happens as we come across the 10th anniversary, that we never see that type of terrorist attack here in this great nation. And we, as a great city and state, have to fight to make sure even harder the work that a police officer here in the city of New York has to do each and every day to keep us safe. They keep trying. Whether it's a bomb in the underwear, a bomb in their shoe, a bomb in a car on 42nd Street, they're not stopping. They're trying and they keep on coming. But ladies and gentlemen, we are the greatest city in the world, and we will make sure that we have and continue to work with the greatest police departments across this great state and make sure that we don't come and have that attack again here. We can and we must work in Albany to make the lives of all our friends and our neighbors who have been here and touched by this crisis better. This is why just in the past week, I have embraced my new roles as part of the Senate leadership and as a member of the Senate Finance Committee and Working Rules Committee and the Health Committee and other leading committees. And I believe it is a privilege to be your state senator. And I know that New York will come back stronger than ever. And in the next 2 years, I will work to make this neighborhood and this state an even better place to work, to live, and to raise a family. We can do better. You deserve better. We must do better. We will do better. Thank you.